want to give you a quick overview of the module AC 5015 Forensic Accounting, which is an optional module that you may be interested in when you select your modules for next year. It's a relatively new module. It's going to be running for the third time when you hopefully join the module. The contents can be looked at from two perspectives. We aim to introduce you to the professional work of forensic accountants, and the basic question that we try to answer is, what do forensic accountants really do? How do they really spend their time? What do they enjoy? And what value do they bring to businesses and society? If I need to summarize that in two short words, I would say forensic accounting is all about the performance of various investigative and litigation support services. Okay, so investigations means finding out about tasks and roles and peoples and what they have done. And surely the litigation is about when there are disputes, when two parties do not agree, and when we need an expert witness. Bang! There comes a forensic accountant. So you technically will be looking forward to becoming the firefighter in businesses and between individuals whenever it comes to financial issues. So when people have disagreements about money, we need an expert who will come in and settle the scores. For you to be able to do that, we introduce you to the knowledge and the skills that are very pertinent for these two specific roles. So what do you have to know, and what should you be able to do? Remember, it's about knowing and being able to do. So key among these would be skills like having an eye for detail, right? Being very analytical, having a question in mind, being able to ask the right questions and find the right answers. When people tell you stuff, are you able to make quick, intuitive judgments to assess the veracity, the authenticity of various representations, whether it is written, whether it's spoken? Can you check quickly to see whether that is true or not? And that is really, really valuable, because then you can expand that into most of the things that business professionals do. But for our sake, we begin by looking at what accountants do. By accountants, I mean financial experts. So we start off with understanding what you could be doing with regards to financial accounting, financial reporting, preparing financial statements, and auditing. Right? What can go wrong with that? What can go wrong with the work of an auditor? What can go wrong when people prepare financial statements? We should be able to analyze all these technical pieces of information that comes out of the accounting profession, so that if people are not sure about the work of an accountant, they can call on us. So I think quickly you can realize that the forensic accountant is not just an ordinary accountant. If you like, the forensic accountant is the accountant of the accountant. If you like, forensic accountant is the auditor of the auditor. So when an accountant has done a job and we are not certain about whether they have done a good job, who will be able to go and check the work that they've done? That is a forensic accountant. So we need to be able to sharpen our data analysis skills. I don't mean data analytics in the very technical sense of big data, but a bit of that will be helpful. However, in this module, we begin by looking at the data that comes out of the accounting activities. So we will primarily be using Excel, but if you have the appetite to do more, why not? We'll be able to support you to use other software, which is where the trend is going. But basically, we focus on Excel. Then we look at a big theme, which is fraud. So with various representations and what people are doing, financial crimes are skyrocketing. So we spend a bit more time looking at the legal side of fraud. What does it really mean? what does the Fraud Act say, and how does that relate to the work of finance professionals? We spent a bit more time on the CFAS annual reports. So this year we saw various trends where financial crimes are being committed, who is committing them, what motivates them, what are the tricks they are using, what are the various scams, and so on and so forth. We really enjoyed the session on crime this year because that led to the input of an external body, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then we have business valuations. A lot of commercial disputes and business issues come up when people value businesses, when people buy shares, when people trade. What are the things that can go wrong there? And how do we get called upon as forensic accountants to verify and investigate and sometimes support people who are litigating? A big chunk of what forensic accountants do are also related to family businesses and matrimonial issues. When finances become an issue during divorce or various forms of separation, we get called upon. So it's a very broad, academic landscape, but we give you the introduction to what the forensic accountant does in all of these roles to whet your appetite and probably prepare you for a placement at the end of second year. If you were thinking about where to look for placement, you could be looking at law firms, you could be looking at accounting firms, financial services firms who are really on the lookout for people who can fill the void that's out there. The assessment for the module is a 50% portfolio, which usually is going to be a group presentation, which is then peer reviewed by other students on the module. They give you feedback, and you have 2 or 3 other tutors who are also going to be present at the presentation to also give you feedback. And then you take all that and then you go and reflect on your presentation and the feedback. Students really tend to enjoy that. I think this year we had a wide spectrum of marks. We had more than a handful of students who had 91, 92, 88, a lot in the 70s and 60s. And then unfortunately we had some people on the very low end of the scale. I think the lowest was 10%. Well, so the module is challenging, but it's fun. I mean, if you do what you have to do, there's no reason why you will not be able to achieve highly. And then we have the 50% closed book exam, which would be a 2-hour paper. If you were thinking about your future plan, I think forensic accounting can really give you the lever into all of these roles that you could be looking at. So in the long term, yes, you may become a forensic accountant, but even if you were not hoping to become a forensic accountant in the immediate future, the content of the module ensures that you're able to integrate a lot of the things that you've learned on the module, right? And that really helps with your learning. I can say for sure that some of the tasks that we do in our seminar are really very investigative. Remember, that's what the module is about. So we ensure that you're able to check and verify things that other accountants have done to spot the error. We call it the spot the error activity. And you'll be looking at financial statements and what are the things that are wrong in them. You'll be looking at various forms of management, accounting reports, and assessing what may be wrong with them. You may be looking at some finance, valuations, and tax issues, which are all taught, by the way, in the module. So by bringing all of that together, you will be preparing yourself for the future, wherever that future will be. But certainly, if you then develop the appetite to become a forensic accountant, then you'll be out there flying. And I know every year we have students who really fall in love with that, and I have no doubt that they will go on and achieve. We have external inputs. Please remember that forensic accounting is a requirement if you want full exemptions for the ICAEW exemptions. So 5015 is a must if you want the exemption from the ICAEW's law module. Right? Every year we have external firms that come in to give guest lectures and more. So the topic about matrimonial disputes will be delivered by a forensic accountant who is a director, a partner at Hazelwoods. So she comes in, delivers a lecture and a seminar, and she brings a real case to really show you how she goes about doing forensic accounting in real life. We also have a 2-day seminar, 2 full-day seminar that is led by, a legal firm. Bond Salon would lead a seminar, a full-day seminar, and then we will have a practice session in the moot court where they prepare you to become an expert witness. Very, very valuable. This year we looked at mortgage fraud, and the students really enjoyed it. And then we also have a graphologist who comes in to look at what signatures tell about people and how people forge documents and all that. So it really all comes together. We give you the theoretical bit, and then we give you the practical bit to support you on your journey. I hope this helps, and all the best.